ringing here in Stark Vegas for college football, presented by Xfinity. This is the SEC on ESPN. Big 12 comes on the road to take on the SEC. It's Kansas State taking on Mississippi State. And it's Bob Wischusen alongside Dan Orlovsky. Allison Williams will join us in just a moment. It is sweltering here. As they said on game day, 105 in the shade. That's probably accurate if you're a college football fan and you've gotten used to basketball on grass. This is more your granddad's football. We'll see things like huddles and fullbacks and tight ends today. It's gonna be fun.
Who would have thought? You know, what we have is in Kansas State, the best team that runs the football in college right now versus the best player in Kylin Hill at Mississippi State run the football at the FBS level. Like you said, we're gonna have a little bit of an old school pound the rock football game today.
And Allison, who would be handing the ball to Kylin Hill was a mystery this week. I guess it's just been solved.
Yes, Bob, I just spoke to head coach Jor Moorhead, and quarterback Tommy Stevens will start this game. He was a game-time decision following an upper body injury suffered last week. It limited him in practice, but he did participate fully in warm-ups and is cleared to go. However, keep in mind the Bulldogs will be without two starters on the defensive side of the ball. Linebacker Willie Gay and defensive tackle Lee Autry, both out for a violation of team rules. Bob?
Well, for two teams that both like to run the football, they will both be missing very important pieces on their respective defensive lines. Wyatt Hubert is not going to go for Kansas State either. K-State won the toss, deferred their option to the second half, so it's Mississippi State that will start with the football. Brian Cole from the 5 to bring it back. And the Dogs will have to settle for about their own 22-yard line for their first drive of the game. They have Tommy Stevens under center, but it must be comforting as a quarterback, I would think, Dan, especially when you're banged up, to have a workhorse to hand the ball off to, and he's got that in Kylin Hill.
And it's the focal point of this offense, just scheme-wise. They want to run the football, but when you have a guy like Kylin Hill who can do so many things and utilize so many runs, I expect them to lean on number 8 early and often today.
He might be about as good a running back as there is in college football that most fans haven't been introduced to yet. Last year, Hill off and on with a hamstring injury that bothered him throughout the season, missed a couple of games, and still ran for almost 800 yards in the SEC. He gets the first carry of the day and gets taken down behind the line. A 2-yard loss to open. Jerron McPherson, the nickelback, sold out to stop the run, and it's 2nd and 12.
McPherson did a great job of just shooting off that bunch set and coming straight down the line of scrimmage to ankle wrap up Kylin Hill.
Play action for Tommy Stevens. Flips one to Farrod Green, the tight end. He breaks a tackle, and it looks like he's got a first down. Picked up 13.
I mean, I like the play call. They had brought Farrod Green over in motion to get to a bunch set, which was their first play of the game formation. Then a little play action. Remember, Tommy Stevens, a little bit of that injury. Get him an easy completion. Utilize the fact that Kansas State knows you're going to run the football to your advantage.
Quarterback draw. I guess Tommy Stevens' shoulder is okay if they're going to run him into the line. And what does he have to do today against this K-State defense?
Well, the first thing is he's got to see the big picture in positions over people. Make sure that you're doing a good job of throwing to the right guy, not just throwing to somebody because he's your friend. Aggressive arm. Sometimes he takes a little bit off the ball on these short throws and it affects his accuracy. And then really he's got to take 2 bad plays today because of breakdown or whatnot and turn them into good ones with his feet.
4-man rush on 2nd down. Stevens under pressure again. Gets out of the pocket, extends the play, flips one across his body, and he's got a first down catch right up the hash marks. What a terrific play by Tommy Stevens, bailed out by Osiris Mitchell.
Guys, Keep in mind, it is over 100 degrees down here on the field. We've got the cooling fans going. I'm even wearing a cooling towel because it's so hot. Now, it's not like Kansas State comes from a cold climate, as Joe Moore had told us. It was in the mid-90s earlier this week. But the Bulldogs certainly more acclimated to playing in this weather. Something to keep an eye on throughout the game. And I hope I did okay with that weather report, because you know Joe Moore has a big-time weather geek.
High snap, tipped ball, and an interception. Denzel Goolsby, right off the fingertips of Stephen Guidry. And Kansas State's got a takeaway. And now a scrum on the Kansas State bench has to be broken up. And the officials are in the middle of it, trying to pull the offensive line of Mississippi State. Tommy Champion, the starting left guard, most notably, in what could have been an ugly scene on the Wildcat bench.
One of those run pass options, just a little high for Guidry and Goolsby, who dropped one last week against Bowling Green, in the right place at the right time. Ex-wide receiver caught it that one.
Stephen Guidry's got to hold on to that football for the quarterback.
Tips equals interceptions. And there's nothing that bothers a quarterback more than when we throw a good throw, we place it where we need to, and on the box score or on the highlight reel, it's going to end up as an interception to us.
Mississippi State +5 in the giveaway takeaway ratio coming into today. Here's Harry Trotter. And if anyone in the Little Apple has yet to call him the Wizard, they are missing out.
Well done.
That's just a layup of a nickname for Harry Trotter. And Skylar Thompson, who right now in our ESPN QBR is at 97 even, leads FBS. He has been terrific in what amounted to 2 scrimmages to start the season against Nichols and Bowling Green. A different challenge today.
Certainly, you got to see everything. Mississippi State will show you zone, then play man. They'll play man, show you man, and play zone. That's going to be really important for him moving forward today.
Two tight ends, and James Gilbert the lone setback on first down, and they will run to the power side. James Gilbert picks up about 9. Here's a blitz. It's picked up. One-on-one shot taken by Skylar Thompson. Just overthrows Joaquin Gill. Another update with Matt.
It appears all Tennessee needed was little Chattanooga in their life. Already up 7-0. A block punt by Tyler Bird. Brandon Johnson scoop and score. Right now, all balls in the first. 14-0. Make it 21-0. Just scored another touchdown.
That's a sour football team. To see how they lost to BYU last Saturday night.
With that
a
long
heartbreaker for the Vols.
Sure, yeah.
A blown coverage when they had the game won. 3rd down and 6 now for Kansas State off the takeaway.
Mississippi State's got 5 guys up in the line of scrimmage trying to see if somebody can win a one-on-one rush.
Thompson right at the first down marker to Phillip Brooks. Driven back, but it looks like he's got it. And he does.
Outstanding by Brooks, because that's a 3rd and 7, right? And your play call maybe only calls for that 7-yard quick little out, but how good has Skylar Thompson been on 3rd down this year? And another example, but Brooks doing a nice job of getting a half a yard past those sticks to make sure he got enough.
Trotter finds a crease. Very close to the first down. Looks like they're going to give him a 9-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 1 at the Mississippi State 33. How will Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne handle the Dome tonight at 7:30 on ABC? It's Clemson, Syracuse, Saturday Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo.
Last time they went up there, not a good result. I think it'll be different today, but.
Bold prediction.
See Skylar Thompson right now, he sees that Mississippi State was going to blitz. They were going to bring those linebackers, move the tight end back, try to attack that blitz with something.
And it's a straight ahead run to Trotter, and it worked. Now that really is a hidden part of playing the quarterback position. isn't it checking to the right run?
Absolutely, because when defenses blitz, that means there's movement. People are going places, they're slanting. And if you displace or stop one of those movements, the hole is going to be even bigger. So they're anticipating that blitz. They get to a run that they know can hurt that blitz if blocked well, and that's how they got that big gain.
Another check by Skylar Thompson. Back in the I formation. Another run with Harry Schrader. And he paid the price right at the line of scrimmage. Errol Thompson again. Gain of a yard.
That was a much better job, Mississippi State defensive-wise. Kobe Jones saw the pulling lineman. He decided to hit it with the shoulder that was going to force Harry Schrader to have to bounce that ball, and then you bounce it to extra defenders. The cat and mouse game today is going to be how does Mississippi State handle some of those pulling offensive linemen and changing up, sending the ball back inside or forcing the ball to bounce outside.
Play action, Thompson, and he rolls out. Up against the sideline, and just has to hoist one and throw it away. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Really smart play by Skylar Thompson. Now this is the thing, Mississippi State last year was the best team in the country in red zone. We've seen it once today, them rise up and stop. And an example of that right there is great coverage. Now, they had everybody within like 6 yards of the line of scrimmage. Expect the Kansas State at some point to take a shot when they get into this high red zone. But 3rd and 9, we've seen a run, and then we've seen Skylar Thompson find Phillip Brooks. Again, it comes to protection. Looks like Mississippi State's going to drop into coverage here, find a soft spot in the zone, 83, in the middle of that trips at the bottom of the screen.
Only a 3-man rush. And it'll be another 4th down decision. Joaquin Gill, a couple of yards shy of the 1st down. And here comes the field goal group. If it's an NFL kind of a game, and we expected that today, limited possessions, running the football, some huddle up, how much of an advantage is it just to get 3 on the road to put the first points on the board?
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, you've had 2 offensive possessions and both have been good. Now 4th and 4 is much different than 4th and 1. This is the right decision here. Make this kick and you're feeling really good about your first quarter.
Blake Lynch, right down the middle. Kansas State takes the early 3-0 lead. And if you've got the app, there are plenty of football games to stream today. We're off to a low-scoring start as expected. Kansas State, Mississippi State, with the Cats taking the early 3-0 lead. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, and Allison Williams here in Starkville. Devontae Payton thought about bringing it out from the goal line, and instead he will take a knee, and we'll go back. Kylan Hill, a hard-working yard for a player that ran for 100 yards or more in both of the opening wins for Mississippi State over Louisiana and Southern Miss. He's only got 7 yards so far on 4 carries today.
And what you're seeing out of Kansas State right now is one, they are putting extra people to support against that run, and they're keeping leverage. And again, that's a big part of their defense is keep the ball inside of you. If you're on the right side of it, the ball, keep it on your left. If you're on the left side of the ball, keep it on your right. That's what they're doing a really good job of right now.
Stevens to the sideline, throws it away. Crowd getting a little antsy. Those cowbells are quiet. 3-0 Kansas State, and now 3rd down and 9.
I'd say that Tommy Stevens had Osiris Mitchell crossing the field early and just didn't get it to him, but 3rd and 9 is not where Joe Moorhead wants to be because he's got to slide his offensive line the right way. Kansas State's going to come after him. That's what he's got to get right on 3rd down today.
Here comes a blitz. Airmailed to the sideline by Stevens. Stephen Guidry was the wide receiver in front of the Mississippi State bench. Trey Deshawn all over Tommy Stevens. But that looked like a throwaway as well.
Well, I talked about that protection and sliding the protection the right way. They brought Jonathan Alexander, a safety, off the edge, the same side as Deshaun. The offensive tackle had a pick one. Deshaun's coming down right on Tommy Stevens' chest, unblocked. That's what forces that high throw. Joe Moorhead's going to have to figure out on third downs how to protect his quarterback.
Tucker Day pulls down the high snap, barely gets it away. And a pretty good punt off the high snap. Fielded up against the sideline by Brooks. In traffic, still on his feet. Breaking tackles. Can he turn the corner? He gets a block. And he's out of bounds at the 45-yard line with a late flag thrown. Welcome back to Starkville. Bob Wischusen here with Dan Orlovsky and Allison Williams. 3-0 Kansas State. They have controlled the line of scrimmage, but against a very good Mississippi State defense, have not been able to find the end zone yet. Time of possession, though, when it's this hot, means what to both teams?
Well, offensive line, you start feeling yourself. You feel good. We're imposing our will, and then the defense, you're saying we got to find a way to get off the field and give ourselves a break.
Here's Jordan Brown. A cutback for a couple of yards. Leo Lewis was there to make the tackle. Both of these teams normally dominate the clock, and it has been Kansas State, for the most part, owning the clock here in the first quarter.
Again, this is part of the time of possession, though, right? They run their play. They're going to huddle. One of the reasons they like to huddle is because they love to change personnel. Keeps everybody engaged. It forces defenses and scouting coaches in their scouting to prepare for a lot of different things. That's part of this time of possession.
Keeper for Skylar Thompson. And he's ridden out of bounds. Just about at midfield. C.J. Morgan was there to push him out, and now Mississippi State has forced a third down. Now, as part of shortening the game, would you snap the ball here if you're Kansas State? They don't have to.
Oh, and absolutely not.
Let the clock wind down and end the quarter.
Let it run. You're up 3-0. You've done a really nice job of controlling the first quarter, and also now you have the opportunity to come to the sideline and talk about what you really like on this third down, quarterback to coach wise.
They actually marked him out shy of midfield, so it will be 3rd down and 7 for Kansas State when we come back to start the second quarter here in Starkville. If you want to beat the heat, have multiple bodies to go to, and that's what we've seen so far from Kansas State.
Well, first you hand it off to your starting tailback, James Gilbert, and he gets a nice run. And then you can utilize your quarterback, a little zone read, Skylar Thompson, with a big chunk. And now we'll get a jet sweep to a wide receiver, Malik Knowles. And then let's get our wizard, Harry Trotter, out there for another handoff. That's how you own the ball for almost 9 minutes in the first quarter.
Four-man rush. Thompson down the sideline, drops one in to Landry Weber. 1st down and more inside the 35 of Mississippi State, a gain of 24.
Weber on the reception.
Guys, Skylar Thompson told me this is the most fun he's had in his life playing football this year. After a pretty tough year last year, you know, he battled through injuries. He had to split time at quarterback. And at the end of the year, he said he actually considered transferring. But then head coach Bill Snyder announced his retirement. He said, I was on the edge of my seat seeing who we would hire. And when it was Kalman, he was thrilled. He'd actually recruited Thompson to North Dakota State, offered him a scholarship there. He said, I watched these offenses. I knew I could fit. And he said, now I am back to loving the game.
He just threw it like he loved it. Play action here, floating one to a wide open tight end in Blaze Gavin, and he missed it. There is a flag down in the offensive backfield. Would Thompson like to have that throw again? A play action fake worked to perfection.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 54. Late hit to the quarterback. 15-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
A big penalty call against Mississippi State. Well, Matt, here Kansas State's got the 3-0 lead, and they're in the red zone after the penalty call. Here's Jordan Brown finding a lane. Inside the 10. A 1st down carry down to about the 7-yard line. It's 1st and goal.
Watch that fullback. Saw off that pressure coming from the inside. Mason Barta, again, he's such an integral part of this football team. They took their tight ends from one side of the field to the other, led with the fullback. Again, they're starting to impose their will play after play, run game-wise.
Jordan Brown, the North Carolina transfer, is at the goal line, and he's in for a Kansas State touchdown. Jordan Brown's third rushing touchdown as a Wildcat. What a start for Kansas State.
Keep our eyes on 62 right here and watch where he needs to get to. Tyler Mitchell anticipating that backer to flow over the top, runs to where he's going to go. Understand angles. That's what gave Jordan Brown that cutback lane.
We've seen all three tailbacks for Chris Kleiman's team. Jordan Brown, the latest. He had never been to the state of Kansas or seen Kansas State play before he made his visit to Manhattan. Now he's a Wildcat. Mississippi State now respond down by a couple of scores as Peyton brings it back and gets out close to the 30-yard line before he's dragged down. Another Kylan Hill on 1st and long. And it's going to be 2nd and long. He gained a yard. Daquan Patton dragged him down.
You know, I would say that Kansas State has an advantage today in regards to their speed at linebacker. Daquan Patton and Elijah Sullivan, 5 and 3, can both really run. So it allows them versus this RPO and zone read to play a little soft and play a little behind and then allow the speed to get to the football. You saw it there for Patton.
Four-man rush. Backpedaling and under pressure and going down is Tommy Stevens. Trey Deshawn gets the sack. The 6th career sack for Deshawn.
Just outstanding by Deshawn at top. Watch the little move, step inside, get the guard to overcommit himself, rip underneath, and just those subtle movements by that big defensive tackle. He was the one who hit Tommy Stevens a drive earlier on 3rd down, finally gets home.
He was All-State in basketball in high school as well. I'm going to guess power forward.
Powerlifting, guys, a powerlifting champ as well, just like you.
3rd down and 29. So it's a check down to Kylan Hill, and that'll buy some real estate for the punt group. But a penalty and a sack. And Kansas State has a chance not only to get the football back, but flip the field as well.
And this is really the last thing you wanted if you're Mississippi State, right? Your defense was just on the field. Allison has touched on how hot it is. They were just on the field and driven a little bit for a touchdown. Now they have to go back out there immediately. What was maybe thought to be an advantage of theirs, the heat, could be turned into a disadvantage with Kansas State's pounding style of offense.
And a wobbly kick. And it's bobbled and turned over by Kansas State. It looks like Paul Blackwell got the recovery. The long snapper, Paul Blackwell, comes up with the loose football.
Chase after it, snapper, effort. Look at the effort, 67, middle of your screen, running down. Be a part of your kick coverage team. Flip some momentum,
And
just what this team needed.
It's actually Jordan Brown, who is normally a running back wearing number 6. He wears 80 on punt return. The tear-off jersey, he was the one that fumbled the football. What a momentum change for Mississippi State. We had a technical problem as we hand one off to Kylan Hill. He finds a lane. And he finds a Gain of about 5, maybe 6 yards just inside the Kansas State 40-yard line. Daniel Green on the tackle.
I'll say one of the things that makes Mississippi State and a zone read offense look different is sometimes the receivers got to go block. Cam Gardner was at the bottom of our team, did an outstanding job of going and taking a safety out of the picture. Finally got Kylan Hill some positive yards.
Kylan Hill, nice jump cut, acceleration, and strength. Well, he showed every box check there for a big-time running back into the red zone, a gain of 23.
The thing that makes Kylan Hill special right now, he's a big back, 215 pounds, but he moves like a little back. Watch the jump cut here. Big back body, jump cut to the left. Those are not skills of a big back. That is a big back that moves like a little back.
We'll take it again. And this time into the wash, just moves the pile for about 3.5 yards inside the 15-yard line. Jordan Mitty named the Kansas State tackle, and now Kylan Hill is going to tap out and be replaced by the true freshman Lee Witherspoon.
I think that Mississippi State's got to get into that bunch set, those 3 receivers all together, and utilize some play action. There's some room out on the edge to that bunch for Tommy Stevens to move and find easy receivers. You can see now he's looking at the sideline. Okay, what is Kansas State doing? Do they have 2 high safeties, 1 high safety? You move your back, look for an RPO.
And the give is to Witherspoon. A couple of more yards. Kyle Ball on the tackle. So here's a big 3rd down. After they were given the gift of the fumbled punt near midfield, you want to do something with the takeaway. Now it's a 3rd down inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and there's defensive coordinator Scotty Hazelton. And this is a defense that, and certainly in the red zone situation, they're going to play some soft zone, potentially rush 3, drop 8, and make Tommy Stevens think his way through progressions. Don't be disappointed, or don't be surprised if Joe Moorhead tries to pop a run here as well.
Stevens straight back to throw, steps up in the pocket, flips one, right at the 5-yard line. That is pulled in. Osiris Mitchell makes the catch, and he'll get progress to the 4-yard line. It's 1st and goal.
Just an outstanding play by Tommy Stevens to climb up in the pocket, avoid the rush. Watch the rush come off the left side of the screen, climb up, 2 hands on the football, and throw the ball to Osiris Mitchell. But then the high throw, that's strong hands by Mitchell upon contact.
Quarterback power at the goal line. It's Stevens. Touchdown. How big does the Jordan Brown muffed punt loom now? Kansas State was about to get the ball just about at midfield off of a wobbly punt with a 10-0 lead. Instead, the turnover results in the short field for Mississippi State, and they take advantage.
Well, it gave them life. That's what they needed, was some form of momentum. You get the fumble on the punt return. Great hustle by the snapper, getting down there, recovering. And then you talk about a tough quarterback, Tommy Stevens. Find a way to run through an unblocked defender. Mississippi State back in it.
4 teams have been ranked at one point #1 in the college football playoff rankings. And you name them. I was surprised to see it was only 4. The college football playoff rankings come out after Halloween, basically, so late October. So that's when there's some more clarity with the poll. But there's only been 5 teams in the last 6 years to be ranked #1 in the AP poll.
That question is very, very sneaky. Let me just say that. Very tricky.
And there is a hint to the game you're watching.
Yeah.
That'll be the hint we give you. We're starting field position for Kansas State. Begins with a James Gilbert handoff and a gain of about 4. I was about to say that Georgia Tech can't be losing to to the Citadel. Of course, then I remember I'm a Boston College graduate.
Tough one. Tough one, bud.
I mean, that was water torture last night to watch that second half against Kansas.
Kansas finished on a 41-7 run. Is that right?
I don't know why you had to bring that up. Maybe we can just say that BC lost and move on. We don't have to talk about Power 5 road losing streak for Kansas or anything like that. Again, it's Gilbert. Kansas State now faced with 3rd down and 4. And these are the down and distances, Dan, that we knew we were going to see a lot of in this game today based on the style that both of these teams play offensively.
Yeah, it's certainly like almost a don't beat yourself type of mindset. They want to run the football and pound the football and pound the football and get into the cliche of 3rd down and manageable. The thing that's allowed Kansas State to be so good this year is the quarterback. Skylar Thompson has handled it all and made some plays with his feet on 3rd down.
3rd down and 4. 4-man rush. Incomplete. Diving attempt by Dalton Schoen right at the sticks. So it's a 3 and out after the touchdown forced by the Mississippi State defense.
Mississippi State decides, all right, we're just going to play man coverage, and we're going to make you make super accurate throws and contested catches. Outstanding defense by C.J. Morgan, the safety there, and forces, this is what this team needed. Think about it, the fumbled punt. We go on that drive, score a touchdown, and now defensively, they get a 3 and out stop to get off the field, and near the end of the first half, give it back to their offense.
Devin Anktel will try and change field position. A wobbly kick, though, and a fair catch immediately called for by Malik Deer just inside his own 28-yard line. Bulldog ball. We come back. I will be tuned in, to say the least. Here's Kylan Hill. Hit behind the line. And he is brought down for a loss of a couple. Jordan Mitty made the stop.
Bob, the message to Mississippi State's offense on the sideline, this is a grinded-out game, and we have to keep grinding. Just like we saw there, they want to really keep pounding the ball inside, establish some rhythm with the run game, and open things up for the receivers on the outside to win some one-on-ones, and that's when they'll go for the big play strike. They feel like they're one big play from changing this game.
Play action only works, though, if your run game presents a threat and allows you to set it up. And for the most part, they have not been able to run the ball. Only 31 total yards here in the first half. Tommy Stevens, long throw to the sideline over the head of Mitchell. And now it's 3rd down and 12. Reggie Walker was coming on the rush.
You know, don't forget Tommy Stevens left last week's game because of an upper body injury, and we've seen him high on some throws today. Even the one in the red zone on the previous scoring drive to Guidry. And it just looks like he's not delivering the ball confidently. That comeback to the sidelines is his best throw. And he's missed high a little bit today. I'm thinking might be having something to do with that injury.
He's up out of the pocket here. Lost the football. It's on the deck, and it takes a charity hop right into the hands of Daniel Green. Second turnover for Mississippi State, and this puts Kansas State in prime scoring position before halftime.
Stevens does a nice job of breaking the pocket, but look how he's holding the ball. He's still trying to be a passer. And remember, the heat, that ball, your hand's got a lot of moisture on it. When you decide to run as a quarterback, you got to make sure that ball gets tucked away. He still wanted to hold it as a passer.
That's just a sweaty hand trying to hold a slippery football.
I would imagine that the sweat of his hand had something to do with that.
Jordan Brown up the middle, inside the 20, inside the 15, down to about the 13-yard line. Eventually brought down by Maurice Smitherman, but he picks up 17.
Outstanding vision by Jordan Brown. Straight down the center. Understanding those backers scraped over the top, and then a great finish at the end of his run. All these backs at Kansas State do an outstanding job of knowing where the unblocked defender is.
Play action. Swing pass. Joaquin Gill. Gains a few. Close to the 10-yard line. All three primary running backs transfers. James Gilbert from Ball State, Harry Schrader from Louisville, and Jordan Brown from North Carolina. And one way to beat the heat is to roll bodies in numbers, and that's what Kansas State can do with their run game. Right now it's James Gilbert. Inside the 10, driven back close to the 7-yard line. It'll bring up a big third down.
Much better job, my Mississippi State right there, keeping one guy inside of the ball, one guy on the outside of the ball, and then they could sandwich that ball carrier. 3rd and 5 here. Kansas State has not been down in the red zone a ton today. Mississippi State right now is one of the best teams in college football. Playing red zone defense, expect them to try and play 3 guys rushing, 5 guys underneath playing zone, spy Skylar Thompson, 2 safeties high, protecting the back line of the end zone.
Skylar Thompson gives it to Gilbert. Gilbert breaks a tackle. He's got the first down. He's at the goal line, and they'll mark him just short, it looks like. They thought he had a touchdown. What a run by Gilbert.
Effort. We've said that a lot about Kansas State today. Shakes the initial tackle from Chauncey Rivers. Runs through C.J. Morgan. I don't need my shoe, and gets incredibly close to scoring a touchdown there. We've mentioned that a lot about Kansas State and their players today, and that's what Chris Kleiman wants. Effort, effort, effort. We've seen it on display.
James Gilbert alone in the backfield. Skylar Thompson, quarterback sneak, moves the pile. He's got the touchdown.
Another example of Kansas State, right? Getting a turnover, turning that turnover into points. Ran the ball, ran the ball, ran the ball, get it close enough. That offensive line has had a dominant first half for Kansas State.
And Kansas State won the toss and deferred. So they will start the 3rd quarter with the football. And they may start the 3rd quarter with a 10-point lead. We'll see.
Look at those guys dance.
I'm not sure that the heat is bothering Kansas State.
Certainly not.
Trying to guess. Blake Lynch with the intentional pooch kick. It's taken at about the 20-yard line by Dedrick Thomas. And he's out close to the 35, brought down to the 34-yard line. Now Mississippi State, no timeouts, 40 seconds on the clock. They're going to run it here with Stevens. He's going to slide down at the 40-yard line and take a hit as he goes down. And there's the flag. It comes out late. This changes everything. That's a terrible penalty for Kansas State to take. This 15 yards is going to put Mississippi State at the Kansas State 45-yard line with time on the clock.
Late hit, number 4 in the defense, 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
And that is an awful boneheaded play by Wayne Jones, because he is absolutely going after Tommy Stevens as Stevens slides. Now we'll see what Mississippi State can do with the football here. But this, if he doesn't commit that penalty, we're going to the locker room.
100%. And that
would be halftime.
There's the chunk you wanted on first down, right?
Absolutely.
See what happens, and now you still have 31 seconds on the clock, and you need another 15 yards or so for a field goal attempt.
I would say Joe Moorhead now is going to be in attack mode play calling wise. And here's the throw for Tommy Stevens. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to take a shot for Stephen Guidry down the sideline, and it floats out of bounds. Still 24 seconds on the clock. Again, no timeouts, though, for the Dogs.
And I don't mind that throw by Tommy Stevens, because, listen, no one was open. So instead of trying to scramble and get 4 or 5 yards and then the clock becomes an issue, you throw it out of bounds, essentially, throw it long, and then, okay, now we just play second down. The clock and the time is more important than a 6 or 7 yard scramble. You got everybody up near the line of scrimmage right here. If you're Kansas State defensively, they're daring you to throw the ball somewhere downfield.
Here comes a blitz. Stevens wide open. Dante Jones, the tight end, gets out of bounds. Well executed, picks up a first down, a gain of 12 to the 35, and stops the clock with 17 seconds.
Yeah, really good completion by Tommy Stevens. Daquan Patton decided to try to come from one side of the formation and cover the tight end to the other. Now they need about
another 7
8 yards. Yeah.
That was where Joe Moorhead told us they were comfortable with Jace Christman. Stevens, he's going to take a shot into the end zone. Hauled in by Osiris Mitchell. Touchdown!
What a throw by Tommy Stevens and Mitchell. One-handed in the back of the end zone, the big receiver. Man, what an outstanding throw and catch.
That roughing penalty on Wayne Jones changed everything. Tommy Stevens sliding on his side of the 50-yard line, and most likely Mississippi State would have just let the rest of the first half clock expire and head to the locker room rather than risking a turnover on their half of the field. It's time for the halftime report as we head back to the studio. Just about set for the start of the second half here in Starkville. It's a 3-point game. Kansas State over Mississippi State. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, Allison Williams with us here as well. There were some turnovers. There were some big momentum shifts in the first half. But if you just get down to the line of scrimmage, it's been a game Kansas State has owned so far. Can they keep it up?
Yeah, owned is the right word, and they can. You know, they're prepared. This is the style of play that they want to play. And on both sides, offensive and defensive line has been great. And let's credit Mississippi State, right? They took advantage of the mistake by Kansas State and turned it into points. We got a great second half in store.
And that was a big flip of momentum at the end of the first half for Mississippi State to get the benefit of the Wayne Jones unnecessary roughness foul as he hit a sliding Tommy Stevens, and that put Mississippi State in the attack mode, and they scored a touchdown as Stevens threw a bomb to Osiris Mitchell before halftime to cut the lead to 3. They're still having fun down on that Mississippi State sideline. As Knowles will bring it out, and he'll try to run the long way and eventually get walloped at about the 21, maybe the 22-yard line. Well, Allison had a chance just before halftime to catch up with Kansas State head coach Chris Kleiman.
No, we still have the lead, and we're playing really well. I think we're the better football team right now. We have to eliminate some errors. We had the one turnover we capitalize on. They had the one we capitalize on. We got to settle in. We know this is going to be a 4-quarter game. We knew we'd have adversity.
And he's right. His team, just if you look at controlling the line of scrimmage in both directions, probably has been the better team.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to feel great in just the ideal, right? You want your identity to be where you want to run the football, pound the football, and control the game. It's worked out perfectly. Now do it for a second half here in the heat.
James Gilbert on first down, met and driven back. He lost a yard. And Allison, you also had a chance to catch up with Joe Moorhead. What were his thoughts?
Yeah, Bob, a huge momentum shift is how Coach Moorhead described that touchdown at the end of the half. But he said offensively, they have to do a better job of staying on schedule. They've had negative plays on first down, led to too many second and long, so they have to be more efficient offensively. Less boom or bust, as he called it. And a big part of that will be getting Kylan Hill going. He has just 39 yards. He said we have to create more space for him and get him out on the edge.
Well, and he's right. This offense wants to be efficient, both in the pass, but also in the run game. Explosive in both as well. They need to be more efficient in both aspects.
Bootleg for Thompson, off his back foot, finds a crosser in Dalton Schoen. Boy, did Skylar Thompson, in the face of the blitz, stand in there and deliver a beauty with Aquarius Landrews all over him.
I can't understate how difficult this is for a righty quarterback to go to his left, flip his hips, and then throw with the defender's hands up in the throwing lane, but also to a moving receiver, because if it's behind and man, it's a pick. Outstanding job by Skylar Thompson doing the little things.
Off to Gilbert, and picks up about 2.5. Well, for Skylar Thompson, it's not like he hasn't been through trials and tribulations during his life. He lost his grandfather to pancreatic cancer in 2003 and lost his mom to breast cancer 2 days after Mother's Day in 2004. All of this before his 7th birthday.
Incredible.
So here's a young man that has been through it. His family has been through it. And to see him fall back in love with football with Chris Kleiman at the helm at Kansas State, it's great to see. And here he is off play action, rolling to his right. Bobbled and dropped. He threw a strike, did Skylar Thompson. But the tight end, Nick Leonards, couldn't hold on. Now it's 3rd and 7.
And you talk to Kansas State and their coaches, and they talk about Skylar Thompson almost with reverence, like how much he is beloved by his teammates. And now that he's the guy, he doesn't have to split time and am I going to play? Is there another quarterback? And it's shown itself on the field. Really today for them on 3rd down has been Phillip Brooks. Top of our middle of our screen in that trip set. Mississippi State's coming after him and playing man. Look for 88.
Here comes the blitz on 3rd down. One-on-one down the sideline, Malik Knowles with one hand couldn't haul it in. Jarian Jones, the freshman, there in coverage. And Kansas State's going to have to kick it away.
We've seen that the last couple 3rd downs. Watch, guys make contested catches. Absolutely outstanding throw by Skylar Thompson. But when you're playing man coverage, get your hands on guys, play a little physical, and make guys make difficult catches.
If this was the NFL, Kansas State would throw a challenge.
Yeah.
They would challenge that pass interference wasn't called and probably should have been. What a punt. Devin Anktel drops it at the 5-yard line. And it looks like it went in the end zone. It was saved back to the 1-yard line, but it broke the plane of the goal line. It's a different rule in college than the NFL. At the NFL level, that would have been down to the 1-yard line. But in college, if it breaks the plane, it's a touchback, so it's going to come out to the 20-yard line. A toss to the outside to Kylan Hill. Hurdles a man, and hurdles right into contact. He picked up a yard. Elijah Sullivan forced him out to the sideline, and Denzel Goolsby met him after the leap.
We talked at the start of this game about Kansas State defensively doing a really nice job of keeping leverage. That's a perfect example. Elijah Sullivan runs from the inside out and just pushes Kylan Hill all the way to the sideline, and then the corner's there to come up. It's like a vice, right? They're vicing the ball carrier all the time.
Play action, Tommy Stevens. Fires one down the sideline. He had Stephen Guidry wide open, and he missed him. That's a quarterback that knows he just missed a chance for a touchdown, not just a big play. He puts that on Stephen Guidry. Guidry's probably gone.
And it's Wayne Jones, the safety, again, who made the mistake for the penalty in the first half. He's got to stay deeper than Guidry right there. That's something that Mississippi State will come back to and try and take a shot. Now 3rd and 9, this is exactly where they did not want to be to start this second half. Sees the pressure coming from the top.
Play clock down to 5, and there is that edge pressure. Seam route overthrown, and it's intercepted by A.J. Parker. Down the sideline, Parker gets walloped at the 18-yard line, and the ball came out. Parker may have fumbled it right back. Darrell Williams, the center, comes away with the football. Are they going to say that A.J. Parker coughed it up and gave it right back to Mississippi State?
Tommy Stevens thinks he's got to throw that ball early because of the pressure, but he was blocked up. But A.J. Parker does an outstanding job of playing over the top of that seam.
Absolutely. That's a fumble by A.J. Parker. Stuart Reese, the right guard, he hit Parker and knocked the ball out.
And it just rolls. It just bounces right to Darrell Williams, the center right there.
And now Tommy Stevens, who overthrew badly up the seam and turned it over. He's going to give way to the true freshman Garrett Schrader. Schrader came on in place of Stevens last week when 4 drives into the game, Stevens hurt his shoulder. And Tommy Stevens does not look right. He has missed some wide open throws. So Garrett Schrader takes over at quarterback, and he is welcomed to the game by Reggie Walker.
And I'd say the good thing about Garrett Schrader, no moment's too big. You're at home, you're down 3, kind of put into the game, whether it's for injury or poor play, whatever. You've got to give your offense some energy, some juice, some execution, and the moment will not be too big for him. He's a very confident player.
Change at center as well as Evans Wilkerson takes over for Darrell Williams.
Again, this formation, Mississippi State just tries to throw a quick game completion.
Kylan Hill lowers his shoulders, picks up a couple. It's going to be 3rd down.
Yeah, guys, Darrell Williams is getting worked on the sideline right now. They look like they're working on his left hand.
So that's not his snapping hand, but still, I would think to play center, you need both hands.
Yeah, well, this is an offensive line that has played 11 different offensive line combinations in their first 2 games. So a lot of these guys are used to playing so far. Now, again, not this weather and environment, but everyone on the field has been on the field. This is not that big of an issue for them.
K-State blitzes Schrader off his back foot, hurls one and drops it into Dedrick Thomas. What a play by the true freshman. And it's a 1st down, a 3rd down conversion with Elijah Sullivan all over Schrader.
The moment won't be too big. Outstanding job of just feeling some pressure. I got to get away. And then putting enough air on that throw for Thomas to run underneath it and make sure that that ball doesn't get undercut.
Schrader with a handoff here to Hill. And he grinds out a 1st down. He picks up 11. Well, Garrett Schrader is a dual threat quarterback. ESPN ranked him as a 4-star recruit, the number 4 player in the state of North Carolina, and the number 6 quarterback. And they're going to go with a little bit of tempo here as Schrader takes over for Tommy Stevens.
Thought I was looking at Ryan Fitzpatrick. Miami Dolphins right there. That's a solid beard for an 18-year-old.
Again, the zone read. Kylan Hill bobbing and weaving and dragging tacklers. Close to another 1st down. 9-yard gain for Kylan Hill as he took Daquan Patton for a piggyback ride.
What you're seeing right now is the impact of a 3rd down conversion. You're starting to see a little bit of energy and momentum for this Mississippi State offense. Kylan Hill and their line is, okay, this young kid came in, got us a 3rd down conversion, starting to play with a little bit of confidence. Don't be surprised. This is an area where Joe Moorhead likes to take a shot. They've started to run the ball a couple plays in a row well. Could look at a chance to throw the ball downfield.
Especially on 2nd down and 1. This is the ultimate shot down in distance. Keeper, Schrader, throws it backwards to his tight end, Dante Jones. And Jones is dropped. It is a 1st down, but that was a dangerous play by the true freshman. Jerron McPherson was right in the grill of Dante Jones as that backwards pass arrived.
Backwards is a big deal, right? The offensive linemen are downfield, and that's okay as long as that throw from Schrader goes backwards, which it did. Now,
That might have been the only thing about that play that was okay.
A little lucky there. You took a shot, and then you forced Dante Jones to take a shot. But see, it's a lateral, essentially.
That's a live ball.
They call it the RSO, the run screen option part of this offense.
And it still results in a Mississippi State first down. Schrader well protected. Fires one, deep right corner. And he was looking for Isaiah Zuber, who is the Kansas State transfer. He was the leading receiver last year for Kansas State. As a grad transfer, comes to Mississippi State, plays his old team on opening day, at least in terms of the Power 5 portion of the schedule for these two teams.
And Joe Moore had mentioned that Zuber's really brought some maturity, some flexibility to this wide receiver room. I like the aggressive play call on first down. They've run the ball out of these cut splits. It's either going to be one of those zone reads, or again, they're going to try to throw the ball towards the sideline. Quick completion.
Schrader, first down. Dives inside the 20-yard line. He thought about a swing pass to Kylan Hill, but then saw the running lane.
I think the thing that I like about him the most right now is the decisiveness. Like, you don't see him hesitate to do something. He wanted to throw that swing pass to Kylan Hill. Elijah Sullivan was running towards it. Let me just make a decision. And now look at the hands. Kansas State defense on their hips a little bit, getting this drive. This heat is starting to play its part.
Well, they had a takeaway. A.J. Parker had a pick of Tommy Stevens, but then fumbled it right back. So that kept this defense on the field. Kylan Hill for a couple of yards. Now, Garrett Schrader, as a true freshman coming to Mississippi State, he was recruited by Joe Moorhead to Penn State when Joe Moorhead was the offensive coordinator there. Tommy Stevens, who he now replaces, was at Penn State as the backup Trace McSorley. He hosted Garrett Schrader on his recruiting visit to Penn State.
That sounds like a soap opera storyline in some capacity.
And now they're here in Starkville together. And all Stevens can do is watch Garrett Schrader move the football team down the field. Kylan Hill. And now it's third down, just inside the 15-yard line. Another tackle for Trey Deshawn.
Well, the last time Mississippi State was down in this red zone and had a 3rd and 6+, they decided to get crossers. Everybody running from the left to the right or right to the left. And Kansas State played man-to-man defense, and it popped Guidry open. If you're Kansas State, maybe you try and think of playing some zone here and forcing this quarterback to think through some progressions. This is the same pressure. It's the same look that Tommy Stevens threw the pick through the pick on the drive before. You see that Schrader moves the back.
Here comes a blitz. There's the slant. Osiris Mitchell, another big catch. Third down conversion to the 5-yard line for Mississippi State. He's had a big game.
Man-to-man defense, right? He's 6'5". As long as you get inside that defensive back, get inside of him, it's such a big frame to throw to. And it's a really nice job of Schrader with some patience. This is a run look right now. There's only really 4.5 defenders in the box for Kansas State. This is an outstanding numbers look for Mississippi State's run game.
Quarterback on the move. Schrader, cut back, touchdown. The first touchdown of Garrett Schrader's career, on the ground or through the air. Mississippi State's got the lead, and they're looking to go up by 4. (21-17) on the Garrett Schrader touchdown run.
Well, fire him up, coach. That was a really impressive drive by their offense. How about the young kid coming in, making some plays, and then again, physical down near the goal line. Great play design, finish through the tackle. Mississippi State on top.
Every dog gets a high five and a slap after they go on a nearly 7-minute touchdown drive following the A.J. Parker interception for Kansas State and then fumbling it right back. They've got the true freshman Garrett Schrader now in at quarterback. And he leads a go-ahead touchdown march. Malik Knowles will take a knee. Kansas. Abushuza, Dan Orlovsky, Allison Williams trailing now. Kansas State, swing pass, Phillip Brooks. He is met, the crowd is alive, and these Bulldogs are rallying to the ball. Skylar Thompson, long throw outside the numbers, and Malik Knowles slipped as he was coming out of his break. Now it's 3rd down and a long 12, close to 13.
And normally, 3rd and 10, you think, oh, this defense is probably going to play some soft zone. But the only time they've been good today on 3rd down is when they decided to play man. So if I'm Kansas State, I've got to do something for someone like a Dalton Schoen, number 83, to get him. He's not just going to go beat somebody one-on-one, right? Trips to the bottom of our screen. Can I get a pick? Can I get something to get a favorable matchup number-wise for him?
3-man rush. Skylar Thompson extends the play. Right at the first down line to gain, but dropping the ball was Dalton Schoen. He had to go down and try and scoop it up on the slide from Skylar Thompson, and they couldn't connect. Schoen was open. That close to a big 3rd down conversion.
And listen, it's a really nice play by Skylar Thompson getting out the pocket. But I think he's going to be a little short, even if he does catch that. You'd love for a better throw to keep Schoen up because there's a pocket where he can catch and run right there.
Really good punt from Devin Ankle. Malik Deer lost the football. It's on the deck and they're scrambling for it. Did Deer get it back? It looks like he may have. Mississippi State almost handed a freebie to Kansas State after a 57-yard punt.
Welcome back. It's a 21-17 lead for Mississippi State here in Starkville. This is our Extra Yard for Teachers Week. It's an annual celebration led by the College Football Playoff Foundation that highlights great teachers across the country. So we want to highlight Denzel Goldsby's big sister Banner. She's a 4th grade teacher in North Denver, teaches at Global Intermediate Academy. She's been there for 4 years, and Denzel said he often visits his class. He tries to bring posters, gloves, and a positive message, and he said he's just so proud of his sister for the career she's pursued. The way she goes about her business is just such an inspiration to him. He said she's always going the extra yard for her students, supporting them, whether it's going to their football games or taking time to really get to know them one-on-one. And if you want to learn more about the Extra Yard for Teachers, you can follow at CFP Extra Yard or search the hashtag Extra Yard Week. Bob.
That's great. All 3 of my siblings, I've got a brother and 2 sisters, they are all teachers, principals, counselors, so they're all adding something to society. Hill up the middle. That's a 1st down carry.
Really nice job by Mississippi State's offensive line there, but we see the miscues. You talked about them, Bob, the 3 lost fumbles, penalties for 60 yards. They've dropped some passes. They've got to find a way to shore up those mistakes as we head into this 4th quarter because they're still very much so in the game. You can see Mississippi State swing pass 1st down, get the run game, 2nd down a big chunk.
Schrader to Witherspoon. That may go down as a running play, as that pass was directly parallel, it seemed, to the line of scrimmage to Witherspoon. Kyle Ball, though, put some pressure on Schrader and forced the quick throw.
Schrader, I mean, I know he's big, but that's the 2nd throw in 10 plays we've seen him be able to make where someone's draped on him and still be relatively accurate. Now, Careful, because you're not going to make a living making throws like that as a young kid.
What might be the final play of the third quarter. 2nd down and 10. A blitz off the edge. Schrader underneath to Osiris Mitchell. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter. So we'll start the fourth quarter right where we expect it to be. A close game and a big 3rd down.
It's who's going to make the most amount of plays, comboed with the least amount of mistakes for either team to come away with the win.
Now let's see if Mississippi State is still smiling to start the fourth quarter. Garrett Schrader on 3rd down, taking a shot down the sideline. Incomplete. Again, looking for Osiris Mitchell. So now it's 4th down and 6. You're inside the 30-yard line here, which is right about on the edge of where they like Jace Christman to try a field goal from, and they're going to send the field goal group out.
I love the play call. I mean, if you're going to come up and play man-to-man coverage against Osiris Mitchell, who's had a big afternoon, I would have loved to seen Garrett Schrader take a little bit more air, or put a little bit more air on the football and let the 6'5" guy go get it. But I agree with this play call if you're Joe Moorhead, right? Make this a touchdown game. Trust your kicker. He's at the number you need him to.
This would tie his career long of 47 yards. And he easily ties his career long with a 47-yard bullet. Mississippi State up by a touchdown early in the fourth quarter here at Davis Wade. And Seth Porter muffed a punt that just set up the Mississippi State field goal drive to give them a 7-point lead. Malik Knowles on the return in the open field. Malik Knowles, can he be tracked down from behind? They won't catch him. 100 yards, touchdown.
Little hesitation. But watch him hit a seam, foot in the ground, and you're not going to catch him. What a huge play for Kansas State and Malik Knowles.
Just after we detailed multiple huge miscues on special teams by Kansas State that handed Mississippi State scoring opportunities, Kansas State's special teams scores, and we're tied early in the fourth quarter. But how many different momentum swings have there been in this game?
College football, man. There's nothing better.
Devin Ankle with a returnable kick. Devontae Payton will bring it out from the 4-yard line. Flag down. And Payton is down at the 23. And we can hopefully all team up to do what we can to help them out as Kylan Hill begins this possession for Mississippi State with a run of 5.5. And this will take us inside of 10 minutes to go. A tie game here in Starkville.
And if you're Kansas State defensively, the thing you need to be conscious of right now, and Scotty Hazelton, their defensive coordinators, don't just focus on Kylan Hill, right? That's Joe Moorhead. He wants you to focus on a single guy. You think you have the answer, then he'll change the question.
Hill again. It'll be 3rd down and short.
Got to assume that they're going to look at Osiris Mitchell at the bottom of our screen, man-to-man coverage.
Slant instead thrown behind Dedrick Thomas. So it's a 3-and-out deep in Mississippi State territory for the Dogs. Kansas State might get good field position. That's the 4th consecutive incompletion for Garrett Schrader.
And credit Kansas State defensively, one, doing exactly what they needed to, but playing some man on 3rd down and saying, okay, we're going to challenge this young freshman to make some throws. Now, he had Osiris Mitchell outside on that slant, just got a little anxious to the inside.
Kansas State has deflected a couple of Tucker Day punts. This one he gets away clean, but it's another wobbly kick. Fair catch near midfield made by Phillip Brooks. Great field position for the Cats with under 9 minutes to go when we come back. Harry Schrader, straight ahead run, 2 yards. Kobe Jones made the tackle.
And I like that start for Kansas State, at least philosophically, right? Fourth quarter, 8:30 to go. Got it away from their identity a little bit. Let's put the fullback back out on the field, especially on first down.
Offshoot, though, does have them in 2nd down and long. And Skylar Thompson in the shotgun. Play action. Pumps once. Long throw to the sideline, wide open, Dalton Schoen. That's a blown coverage for Mississippi State as Schoen was running free. He picked up 20.
Well, they have come throwing a couple bubbles early to go bubble pump and just get the defender have their eyes in the wrong place, and Schoen right on the sideline got his left foot down right before going out of bounds.
He might have been close enough up against the sideline that replay might want to take a look. But Kansas State ready to snap it at the 31.
Here comes pressure off the top. Move the back. You really want to run away from that blitz.
James Gilbert upended, but not before he picked up 9.
Really nice job. They bring the pressure, you run away from it. Holtorf and Evan Curl, the center and the guard, shut off the defensive line moving, because remember, blitzer means everybody has to move. You shut that gap off, affords that big run.
James Gilbert up the middle, and that looks to be good enough for a first down. Errol Thompson made the tackle. 1st and 10, Kansas State, just outside the 20-yard line. Malik Knowles cuts it back to the 15-yard line. He picked up 5.
But you see all the stuff that Kansas State has in their bag, and that, again, forces Mississippi State to communicate in the 4th quarter. They take 2 tight ends, one side of the ball to the other. Knowles and that jet sweep handed off. A lot to gain, 4 or 5 yards, but that's exactly what Kansas State wants to do. We got to keep our eye on both those tight ends grouped together up top.
Rolling out is Skylar Thompson. Floats one towards the end zone to Dalton Schoen, who's wide open for the touchdown. Kansas State back on top. Skylar Thompson with a beautiful ball fake that froze that Mississippi State defense. Still a ton of time left on the clock. Over 5.5 minutes and all 3 timeouts for Mississippi State. But now the Dogs find themselves down by a touchdown.
Guys, the other thing to keep an eye on in the final 5.5 minutes here is the heat. Temperatures holding steady at 100+ degrees. It was 102 last check on the field, and there's no shade. The entire field, both sidelines are in the sun. So players are taking a ton of fluid. They have chilled towels on their necks, the Gatorade gummies as well to replenish everything they're losing throughout this game. And it's not just an issue for the players, also for the fans here. As I arrived and came into the stadium, they were giving away free bottles of water to try and encourage fans as well to be hydrated, because they had some issues with heat exhaustion last week.
Yeah, the lack of fans in the building has probably played to Kansas State's favor, because a lot of folks didn't come to this game today, I think, because of the heat and what they knew they were going to be sitting outside in. The early 11 a.m. local start may have affected that as well. But now, this is a crowd that finds their team down by 7 with 5.5 minutes to go. Schrader will keep it himself, break a tackle, and pick up a first down, spin for a gain of 12 yards. Again, Kylan Hill stiff arms a man and picks up 3. Well, he took Wayne Jones and shoved him about 5 yards back.
That's grown man strength right there. Watch this left arm go. Bop! To the redshirt freshman. Then a little look at him. Kylan Hill is going to have to be that enforcer here in these last just under 5 minutes, because they're going to have to run the football a little bit, still run their offense to go score. They're leaving this weak side of their offense. They're leaving a good area for them to go run the football in that space down there with Wayne Jones filling.
That's exactly where Garrett Schrader's going to run to. And he'll muscle his way to the 45-yard line of Kansas State. A.J. Parker bumped him out, but that's 16 more on the ground for the quarterback.
And I mentioned it because there was some space there that they're asking Wayne Jones to drop down from a safety position 10 or 12 yards off and then to go fill the run. And remember, Joe Moorhead knows you have to do something to stop his run. Once he realizes that, that's when he's going to hit you. I'd look to see a play-action pass replacing Jones with the receiver from where he comes from at some point in these next couple plays.
Kylan Hill breaks a tackle inside the 30-yard line before he's brought down with another Bulldog first down. 17 more.
Goes that weak side again, running down towards where Wayne Jones, that safety's replacing numbers or replacing space, and they keep attacking it. And this is where Joe Moorhead loves to live. When he gets a defense a little bit on his heels, he's having some success, he knows you're going to have to do something to stop the success that I'm having, and it's like the riddle. He's going to solve the riddle for this offense.
Kylan Hill again. This time he lost a yard, so now he's at 107 on the day. But for Kylan Hill, 3 consecutive 100-yard games to start the season, and 6 now for his career in the previous 5 games where he has run for 100 or more. Mississippi State's 5-0. He gives way now to Lee Witherspoon, the true freshman. Play action. Garrett Schrader steps up. Long throw. Down to the pylon. Into the end zone. A jump ball. And it's knocked away. Enough air under that football for Osiris Mitchell. For Denzel Goolsby to get some help from Darrell Patterson. And they converged in coverage.
Great job by Goolsby. Going up. Patterson going up. Contesting this throw to Osiris Mitchell again is 6'5". Love the aggressive play call. Good job by both those DBs.
I wonder if this is 4-down territory for Mississippi State. 2:52 to go. It is 3rd and 11. Schrader just about threw a room service interception to Elijah Sullivan, who dropped the ball. Well, now what do you do if you're Mississippi State on 4th down and 16?
That's why he played defense. Elijah Sullivan right in the throwing line. I think if you're Joe Moorhead, you got to be aggressive and go for this. Field goal is not an option.
Yeah, I would go the other way. I would punt on 4th down and 16. If you punt the ball down inside the 10-yard line and use your timeouts, this is a low percentage play on 4th and 16.
But let me say this. You've got 2 6'5" receivers on the outside. Kansas State's playing a soft zone. Look for at the top Osiris Mitchell to have some chance of a contested catch.
Well, here's Schrader buying time, extending the play. He's going to try and run for it. Leaps, gets spun around down to the 20-yard line. Where will they spot the football? It looks like he's short by a yard. He's sold out to try and get that first down. And he's going to come up short.
incredible effort.
This game is far from over. 2:35 on the clock, and they still have their timeouts. Now the crowd sees a replay up on the big board, and they think that maybe that football was at about the 19-yard line when Schrader came down, which is where he needed to get to for a first down.
Where's that ball? It's tucked in his right shoulder.
That's a good spot. It was right on the 20-yard line.
I think it's probably closer to the 20 and a half, right? Because it's tucked in his right arm, right inside of it. Yep.
It's a perfect spot from the officials.
But how about the effort by the true freshman? Listen, 4th and 15. Incredible effort.
So now, Kansas State starts at the 20-yard line. James Gilbert wrestled down, but he picks up 9 yards. Mississippi State has to get a stop, and it looks like they may use a timeout here. Here's Gilbert, and they move the pile for a first down. And a flag thrown after the play came to a halt at about the 33-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 41, 15-yard penalty and an automatic. First down.
That's Tim Washington.
Watch the right side. Watch his head. See the left hand right there by 41 Washington, grabbing the inside of Gilbert's face mask.
And now the final timeout will be called by Joe Moorhead. 2:17 to go.
And remember, Parker was that corner who had that pick and then fumbled. Gave Mississippi State that possession back that they scored. So for him to be included in that play and having to come up and make that big hit, it kind of looked like John Elway going through the air in the Super Bowl years ago.
This is where you trust the senior James Gilbert to hold on to the football and stay in bounds even if you get shut down, which he does. But now the next play is a must for the Mississippi State defense. It'll be 3rd down and about 10.
And guys, how about the opportunity that Kansas State has taken advantage of here on a national stage? Skylar Thompson told me he could not wait for the opportunity to play a big physical SEC team and show what this team is capable of. They had 2 lopsided victories to start this season. His day ended early last week. He said, when I wasn't playing in the second half, I looked at my offensive line and I said, I cannot wait to go and lock horns against Mississippi State and battle for a full 4 quarters. We knew they hadn't gotten tested with much adversity coming into this game. They've certainly passed any test Mississippi State has given them so far.
Gilbert trying to cut back. He's got nowhere to go. So now the play clock will start to roll with 1:19 to go.
It was a really nice job by Gilbert. I can't stress how difficult that is. He started running towards the sideline and was smart enough. I've put my foot in the ground, get north and south. I want no chance to get pushed out of bounds and clocking this stopping this clock. So
low snap. Ankle gets it away, and it's a good kick. And it will find the end zone. And it took 9 seconds off the clock. So 30 seconds exactly for Mississippi State at their own 20-yard line.
Now if you're the young true freshman, Garrett Schrader, and you're getting the ball, you have no timeouts, right? So the biggest thing is understanding a short completion, a 5-yard completion or a scramble for 10 yards, it really does nothing for you. You've got to try to find a way to get a chunk pass. The biggest thing is in the huddle right now. Guys, if we get this completion, everybody has to get up to the line of scrimmage, and it's immediate clock.
And when you're calling plays here for Joe Moorhead, is the goal just to get to the point on the field where you've at least got a chance to throw it once in the end zone?
That is your best and worst case scenario, right? Yeah, you always want to end a 2-minute drill with the ball in your hands as a quarterback. You want a shot at the end zone at some point. So really getting 30, 35 yards here and having a chance, but find a first chunk initially.
Schrader, he's going to run, and he will stop the clock with a first down. Now they have to get up, you would think, and clock it. 23 seconds to go. Or are they going to line up and run a play? They have to get their players back on sides. And I'll tell you, Osiris Mitchell is not showing any sense of urgency to get back to the line of scrimmage. And this is a discombobulated offense right now, as they're going to pitch one out to Kylan Hill. He's going to get driven back. Forward progress stopped in the field of play. Doesn't get the first down. That's going to end the game. Kansas State has come to Starkville and pulled off the upset. 31-24 is our final. For Dan Orlovsky and Allison Williams, I'm Bob Wischusen. Congrats to the Wildcats for a tough road win. Time to head it back to the studio.